Today we are talking about creating email aliases on the fly to support special user scenarios. We'll be covering how email aliases can help support certain scenarios in pipeline. Okay, so let's start by first talking about what email aliases are. So aliases are sub-accounts for your existing email addresses. They're basically alternative addresses whose mail still comes to your email address's inbox. And basically you get a new email address without having to jump through all the hoops of setting up a whole new account with its own login and separate inbox, etc. Okay, so just an easy way to have a sub account. And then those aliases can be used to help you organize and manage your workflow. Okay, so why would you need these aliases in pipeline? It is all about the need for creating a user in pipeline with a different email address than a user's primary email address. Okay, so some reasons could be maybe you yourself are an admin, but you also act as an agent and you want to have a separate account. We've talked about that in some of the webinars. So you want to have a separate account so that when you log in as an admin, you see all your admin functions. And then when you log in as an agent, you only see your transaction information that you're supposed to do as an agent, right? Just to keep that separate. So that's one reason you might want to create an alias so you can have that separate account in pipeline. Another could be kind of what we talked about last week. Maybe you want to set up a fake agent account so that you as an admin can log in and see what that agent sees, right? So you can create an alias for your email address for that reason so that you can log in separately. Okay. Another reason could be that you've got an agent who's joining your team that also belongs to another brokerage, and they've got that other brokerage has a pipeline account as well. So they're using their primary email address in that other brokerage's account, and they need to create an alias, or it would be helpful to create an alias instead of them having to have a whole new separate email account and manage those independently. So those are some good reasons why you might want to create an alias. And again, if you've got any need to create a separate email address off of a primary one, it is fair game. Okay, so where do these email aliases work? The main systems that they work in that we're aware of are in Gmail, Outlook, and Apple Mail. There may be others. If you're ever unsure, just give it a try. And by give it a try, we're going to go over that in a minute, and you'll see how easy it is to go ahead and create these aliases. So once you know how, you can sort of create one and see if it works. Alrighty? Okay, so let's dive into creating them. That's my pipeline email address. To create an alias off of these, all you need to do is add a couple of symbols and define exactly what you want to name it as. So let's say I wanted to create a separate agent account off of my main email address. I could just add plus agent, right? So that is now an alias that I can use. I can set up a pipeline account with it. I can mail things to it. I can, if I'm signing up for something, I could actually use that email address. And we'll go over some pro tips at the end here that are kind of outside of pipeline, but really useful to know as well, that we'll get into. But anyway, so again, I can set this up as Monta agent. I could do Monta plus admin, right? Let's say I've got an agent who's coming from another brokerage. I could do maybe Monta plus my brokerage name to indicate that maybe ABC Realty, right? To indicate that this is her email address for my particular brokerage. So completely fair game. You could put whatever you wanted after this, and Gmail or Outlook or Apple Mail will honor that. So it could be, just anything, any words you want to put after that. Okay. It could be Fleming period 2, whatever, right? Anything you put after that, it will honor. Alrighty. So easy peasy to on the fly, as you need them, create these email addresses. Okay. And let's see what that will look like in pipeline. So if you've created an account, let's say with, I've got one for my admin and one for my agent. As I'm set up here, given how I name myself, it will look like that. Okay. So I did as my first name, Monta admin. That way it'll show up in the upper right-hand corner. That way when I'm working and I'm in as my admin, it's clear. I can look in the upper right-hand corner and see that that's what I'm logged in as. Or if it's Monta agent, I can see that as well. Okay. So we can have multiple types of or as many aliases as we want to create, as we can possibly create. And all of these will land in our regular inbox, our regular main emails inbox, okay? Unless we didn't want them to, right? That's where the organization comes in. So I could potentially, given what I've named these, have these directed to go to particular folders or give them particular labels. So let's head over to my mail system that you've been seeing over here, right? So let's say I want to set my Monta agent email alias to be directed, or any messages coming into that alias to be directed to a particular folder. I would come over to my settings option here. I'll click that, which will take me here, right? And from here, I can do filters and blocked addresses and then create a new filter, okay? Then I can say that anything coming to Monta plus agent at Paperless pipeline, right? Anything coming to, into this, I'm sorry, to that, my bad. Okay, anything coming to Monta plus agent at paperlesspipeline.com. Then I can create my filter and then say, do whatever I want to do with it. Forward it to a particular email address, apply a label, which is what I do often, right? Give it a particular label. You can even set up certain labels. If you're TC, you can set up certain labels for certain agents even. This is just completely independent of aliases. But again, lots of options for organizing your messages here, right? You can give it a certain category if you need to, okay? So lots of different options, and then you go ahead and create that filter. Here's one where I've got, once tasks come in, they actually get a label, right? So I can identify those, and I've got some additional sorts going on in my main inbox, etc. Okay. These happen to be all the task overdue emails. Alrighty. So lots of options there. And so now I just wanted to get into a couple little pro tips. Let's head back over to this list here. So here, you know, we've created some aliases that are appropriate if I've got, you know, a separate admin and agent account, or if I've got an agent coming from a different brokerage, et cetera. This is applicable no matter what you need it for. So in a lot of cases, I'll do for, not for my work email address here, but for, oh, I'm sorry. So let me be clear about one thing. So speaking of work email addresses, so I mentioned the 3 systems that use this are Gmail, Outlook, and Apple Mail. For Gmail, I should have been clear that it's all G Suite or Google Workspace emails, of which Paperless Pipeline subscribes, right? So we are officially a Google email system. It's just that we're able to use our own domain. So don't be fooled if you see a different domain. It doesn't have to be Gmail. It could be anyone who uses, again, that Google Workspace suite. Okay. So again, so when I'm using it for my personal, for example, I might do this isn't my email address, but Monta plus say State Farm, right? If that's my insurance company, when I'm signing up with them at gmail.com, right? That way I know that any email that is sent to Monta plus State Farm has come from or through State Farm, or maybe State Farm has sold my email address or something, which isn't really that applicable for State Farm because they're pretty legit. But, you know, maybe it's Monta plus, well, it's RS or something, right? Some site that I'm not, that might seem a little bit sketchier. I'm just worried they might not protect my information. I'll use that, and then that way I know anything that comes in to that email alias has kind of come through them. So super helpful. I use it a lot. Could be helpful for y'all as well. Just a little tip there. Sometimes also I'll use, instead of like the full name, just to not be so transparent with what I'm doing, I might just say, you know, well, it's us or something like that, just to tip myself off. If I see that, I'll probably remember that acronym and know who it is, right? So again, sky's the limit. You can name these whatever you want, but that's just a nice, helpful tool for helping manage what what's happening to your email address, right? And then again, further filtering it perhaps once it comes in. Maybe you use a specific alias for signing up for newsletters or something, and you want them all to go to a particular place and sort of be de-emphasized instead of being in your primary inbox, which you let all of your important stuff come into that. So just FYI there, okay? Also, keep in mind that periods for these aliases, at least for Gmail, the other two don't support this, but for Gmail, periods are ignored. So if my email address, my primary email address, for example, is monta.fleming@gmail.com, right? Then if I were to not include the period, it would still come to me. If I were to put random periods in different places, it would still come to me. Gmail completely ignores periods. Okay, so just an FYI there in case that's helpful or useful for you in any way. And then the last pro tip is, this is really helpful for, again, setting up separate user accounts, for filtering that information once it's coming into your email system. But you can also, if you need to, send from these aliases. So let me shrink this. So to set up sending from these aliases, you would go to your settings again. Let's just go from here and then see all settings. And then it's under accounts, send mail as, and you would say add another email address. Okay, and then I could say Monta plus admin or agent, whatever, at paperless.com. Right. And then I would just be sure to say treat this as an alias. Okay. Once I do that, then when I am sending a message, sorry, one second here. When I'm sending a message, I'll have the option, these are my two aliases that I've got set up, I'll have the option to select who I want this to come from. Okay, either my Monto or my help email address, once you set it up as an alias there. Okay, so just a little pro tip there in case you ever need to do that as well. Okay, and so that's it for using aliases in special ways in Pipeline.